Well, hello, everybody. Uh, thank you. Thanks for everyone for coming in. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Not sure how well the night's going to go because my hard drive is reason why I was late because it was sort of pinned to at 100%, which means everything sort of froze on me beforehand. I disconnected a small little thumb drive that I had, and all of a sudden it wound up going back to, I would say for about 5 minutes, it wound up going to off 100%, and all of a sudden it went back to 100%, which is sort of kind of annoying. Now it's sort of hovering at 90, hitting 100% every now and then. So if it's pegged at 100, then it all of a sudden it's doing everything with this drive and all that, and then turns around and does nothing with the internet. So all of a sudden I'm disconnected from the internet because it's constantly on the hard drive. That's one thing when I bought this computer, I wasn't too happy about having a hard drive on it because the solid state drive basically doesn't do anything. Pretty much right now it's at like 2%, because it's that fast, whereas the hard drive is not that fast. But that's where all the data is. So thanks for everyone for coming in. Also, happy birthday to Wigwag Workshop. Apparently, not sure if he wanted that out of the bag, but Boxcar Jerry sort of threw that out there right at the beginning. But you are very welcome, Wigwag. Thank you for what somebody said. Thank you for traveling around, the planet with us for one more cycle. But yeah, that's what I'm, pretty much right now distracted because of seeing so much green on the disk drive. Let's see if I can actually show everyone's screen. It's easy with two monitors. Well, of course, I have three, so. All right. Let me select the screen. All right. Screen number. It's the first time I've done this, so I'm not quite. Task Manager. Yes. So this. All right. You're showing a different window. Okay. As you can see, this is pretty much pegged at almost 100, and so hopefully that doesn't hurt tonight, but it has in the past. So there is a possibility of things going wrong. All right. So that's that. Thing that cuts is the little things that I did with the wood. Yes, absolutely. But that is, for those who are watching live or recording, that might be the possibility of all of a sudden I'm just like, frozen and then all of a sudden disappear because the computer decided to go 100% and decided not to communicate with the outside world because it's too busy thinking inside. I would have to say it's not quite it. It's it's normal if there's too many things running in the background. And thing is, right now, all I have is the task manager and Firefox. The problem is with Firefox, I think I might have one too many windows open. But it looks like it's now settling down to 25%. So that means there's a good chance that it's not going to freeze up at this point. What it's going to happen later on, I don't know. But it has been a relatively nice day today, weather-wise. One thing I wound up doing today was there is a relatively new rail trail in Bennington, Vermont. It's a former Rutland railway track. Also, if you really want to go far back, it originally was called the Bennington and Rutland before they were bought out by the Rutland Railroad. I don't remember it. I don't actually remember it being in service, but I remember seeing the tracks all over the place. I actually don't. I mean, when it comes to foam, I haven't really used foam that much. I do have plans to use foam on, on a more permanent, well, not really a permanent layout, but if I'm able to get a larger layout, I would try a little bit of foam. In fact, I've bought the foam. It's just that I hadn't got the ambition to actually turn around and actually put the foam where I want it. But well, I'm not using foam now on the dioramas, but I am planning on using foam on a much larger layout. Right now, the layout that I have is basically just more plywood Pacific at this point, with some paint on it. But I haven't gotten the switches all working properly now. I might. The original plan was to use under the table switches, but now I'm actually contemplating, because I'm not able to get them working the way I want them to. I might go with Caboose hand throws, what they call the tall one, not the one that goes this way, but the one that goes. It's the high stand one. But right now, I think I'm having a little bit too much fun with the dioramas at this point. But I am. There is one thing I am contemplating, which it would be a new hobby for me, and it's a little bit farther than railway adjacent. Basically, what had happened is that I've wound up about last month invited to it was a build, repair thing, etc. for cycle carts. The modern cycle cart, I want to say, is a adult-sized go-kart that's supposed to look like a what is it now? Interm-war race car. That's one of the things right now that I'm thinking of, but there are some that are post Great War also. And I'm thinking of, maybe doing something along those lines. Now, why? Now you're probably, people who are thinking is like, how is this model railroad adjacent? Well, all the cycle carts are approximately half size of the originals. And what I'm thinking of, no, not a battle bot, but think like, the early indie racing and stuff like that. Back when what was it now? Back when it's sort of before NASCAR. Basically using the older style race cars. Basically without the fenders. Basically, sort of kind of like Formula One before Formula One. Now this, you're probably thinking this has nothing to do with railways, and you'd be mostly right, because you had Porsche, Cadillac, Ford. It's like all the early race car drivers. However, there was a point in time that there was a new locomotive company that decided to turn around and try their hands in this newfangled automotive thing. They made trucks and they made cars for a short time. And some of them wound up actually being used as racing cars. I want to say that it was between 1907 to 1912. I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on the dates. But the interesting thing is that this locomotive company that was making these cars, it's a relatively new company that started in 1901. It was a combination of a lot of smaller locomotive manufacturers made a locomotive trust, got together, and turned into a very big consortium, or a big company. Not as big as Baldwin, but it was number 2. And for most of the people here know it as American Locomotive Works. And basically what I'm planning on doing is building an Alco 6. It was a inline 6-cylinder racing car. From my understanding, there's like three of them that wound up using Alcos for racers. Apparently Alco, they're building them like locomotives. So that wasn't an assembly line like the Ford Model T. And pretty much they were very, very expensive because it took them so long to build one, because they're used to taking a long time to build locomotives. With cars, it's like, oh, we'll eventually get there. They were, it was, what was it now? I think one ad was very proudly saying that it took them 2 years to build one. And what was it now? I think it took at least 10 months just for the transmission alone, and they're saying that, and they're proud of this. It's like, doesn't really work that way. Plaster cloth. Yes, I have. In fact, that's on some of the dioramas that I use plaster cloth to sort of make the hills and all that. I guess it's okay. It's one of those things I'm still learning on how to do that. But if anyone is interested in the cycle cars, put in cycle carts and spelled with a K. And look on that. And for for the vehicle I'm talking about, put in Alco-6 as the search term, and you might come up with the T6, but a lot of them, if you need to, put Alco-6 and then put Black Beast. The Black Beast is one of the surviving Alco racers. It actually has the French translation of what it is on the side, and it's pretty much it's completely black except for the tires and the number 8 that's on it. But my plan is to sort of do like a generic Alco racer. Sort of like almost like a diecast, a 1950s diecast toy. Something that is like it's not highly rivet counter details, but it's recognizable as what it is. And basically, that's my thought process. Is obviously get somebody to help me do this because I'm not used to doing something at this scale. But there is there's a size of a cycle cart that they're supposed to have. Supposed to have a certain size wheel, only 6 horsepower with a variable belt transmission. It's like there's rules and not necessarily like the NMRA where it's that let's see, does it supposed to get hard? Yes, it's supposed to get hard. Yeah, it probably will have to take some hours, and also depends on the humidity of what it is. Well, actually, let's switch over cameras. All right. That's one thing I'm going to see. Hopefully they could... oh, no. All right. Pegged up to 100, so while doing this. So this might... Yeah, it looks like it's... let's... All right, let's see what that happens there. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. Have I... All right. Switch over. Hopefully I'm not frozen. Well, things are moving, so it looks like I'm not frozen. It looked like I did sort of hiccup there for a second. Okay. Now, to show off what I'm currently doing now, and move the mascot out of the way. Right. Now, the thing is that this is done with plaster cloth. As you can see right here, you can still see the holes of the plaster. I did not, I haven't gotten to the point of using a lot of paint to sort of hide the holes. But that's what I'm sort of thinking of doing tonight. I was thinking of doing more stuff with the ties, but right now the ties are on hold. So put them into a container or off screen. I'll probably stain those off camera. But yeah, plaster cloth does eventually get hard. It's one of those things that you have to get it at least wet enough. What I wound up doing is I would put it down approximately where I wanted it, and then I used sometimes a water sprayer with maybe just a drop or two of soap. That's why when you shake this up, it has bubbles. And basically what I wound up doing, that's one thing I forgot. All right. And then once it was into where I cut a piece where I got it to, and then I would wet it in place. And eventually it would conform to where things are. And I went from there. I did something very similar to this also. But as you can see, mainly because on the original there is like a section that there is like a hole that's very unnatural looking. Let's see if I got a piece of. Well, this is the next version, the next diorama. But basically, these are these are used to hold fabric bolts. I work at a place that makes mattresses, so we get the bolts of fabric, and that's what these are held into. This is a larger bolt than this one. This is a much smaller bolt. And they come on the, they come on these things, which are, basically pallet sized. And these go in between the bolts. And that's what these are made out of. And I put basically on this one, I put the fabric or the plaster cloth across this to sort of trying to make it more, here I punched it closer to here to try to make like a pond right here. And I'm trying to make it more organic than the original. But now it doesn't have a certain size. Yeah, you can wind up using too much water. That's why I was using the sprayer. Basically, is what I did is that soon as it got, I would spray it until all of a sudden it sort of like was very, uh, until it was very limp, and then it just fell into the appropriate uh, shapes and all that. And the thing is that you want a basic shape. Uh, I wasn't aiming for an actual finished shape uh, because I'm planning on putting stuff on top of it. Uh, and sometimes I think on this one, when I repaint it, the base color, it wound up re-wetting itself. Usually it doesn't do that, but apparently what I did apparently caused it to become uh, did become re-wetted. Uh, and then another thing is that once it gets caught up, it's like if you wind up making a mistake, you can cut it out. I mean, here this was a mistake here that it's like it made the track too far this way, so I cut that out to sort of be able to flatten it out a lot more. And it's one of those things. That's why I do, and this is one of the reasons why I do dioramas, because I can practice, and then it's one of those things of uh, um, it just basically you practice on it, and you don't have to turn around and cut everything out of a layout to redo it. So you could just turn around. All right, you made a mistake and all that. On to the next. Go on to the next diorama. I mean, this one's not perfect because these are supposed to be up against this, which it was originally. But when I took everything apart and tried to put it back together again, it didn't go back well. So, and sometimes it's not necessarily being perfect, but if you make a mistake, the masters know how to hide them. So that's what you want be able to eventually be able to do. All right. Speaking of hiding stuff, where is a brush? Brush. All right. Can I find said brush? No, I can only find the good brushes. I want acid brush. Oh, there it is. With the acid brush so I can turn around and start cleaning this up. My original plan was, to put everything down, and then go that direction. But now, my thought process is try to figure out how to blend in the old stuff with the new. So right now it's basically cleaning everything, not necessarily off. Cleaning I know one of the mistakes I did on this one is the base is, instead of brown, it's green because it's like, it's supposed to be green grass and all that. But after doing it that way, it just didn't look right. And that is because what's the ground underneath the grass is brown, or whatever local color it's supposed to be. So that's why I'm cleaning it up, and then hopefully be able to blend it in. See how well or bad I wound up blending everything together, with the grass and everything. All right, one thing I gotta do is find black. Do we have black? We have black ink. I'm trying to remember what I did on this to try to match that. But if I can't, I can't. Oops, wait a second. Mm-hmm. Now let's see what I can do here. This is black ink. I'm trying to remember if I did paint or ink for the road bed here. Right now I can't think where the black that I have is. That's why I'm thinking that I use black ink, not black paint. But yeah, if you're going to use plaster cloth, just follow the instructions and practice. That's one of the reasons why I like doing dioramas, because I can practice and find out what works and what does not, and go from there. As for one of the things that I've made a mistake with this, is realizing that my original plan was to have the stream coming this way, but it looks like because of how everything is wandering out, it looks like the stream might be going that way. Because, well, gravity. Gotta, basically follow the rules of what the world is, and then things just make more. It just makes a lot more sense. Sort of like right here where this is bumped out a little bit, so I should have left that a little more, a little more brown, but it's too late. I think maybe put a tree there to sort of make it, you know, eh, it's all about learning different techniques and going from that direction. All right. Speaking of direction, all right, put that down there. That over there. Yeah. Well, there goes trying not to get ink on me. This is not red. Red would definitely get some raised eyebrows at work. Now, to grab the Mod Podge. This is empty. Another one that's not empty. Okay. Now we turn around and do our thing here. And the thing is, the Mod Podge will, when it dries, it'll be clear. I'm hoping to match what happened over here. Doesn't matter if the black gets absorbed into it because it will sort of mash in. Went to go dip it in, and I was like, wait a minute, we still have a bunch here. And as you can see, you can see the Mod Podge mixing in with the ink. This is okay. Let's put some there. That way. Yeah, it's another thing. It's like there's one of those things of do all the research you can, but then it gets to a point where you just gotta find a way to practice on the stuff. I mean, unfortunately, some of the stuff is not cheap, but work on small little dioramas to get your technique down. You see on this side, it's pretty obvious what I've done with the plaster cloth. But I would have to say, Dwight, remember that the the plaster cloth is a base. So eventually you're going to be putting stuff on top of it. But even though it's actually, I want to say it's more of a sub base. Because the base itself would be, yeah, maybe it is the base. Might not be I'm thinking, it's you got the framework under, you got the framework that holds up the plaster cloth, which could be, yeah, you have to have something underneath it to support it. Because plaster cloth, once plaster cloth is wet, it's very, very, very flimsy. Some people, they turn around and dip the plaster cloth in a thing of water and then lay it down to where they want it. What I do is I cut it, put it onto the spot that I want it, and then I wet it down. Everyone has their own thoughts and techniques on it, and basically, as Mystic has said, sometimes you have to turn around and oh, wait a second. I'm not quite in shot. Didn't realize this. Sorry about that. There we go. I would have to say it's not like riding a bike, because riding a bike, there's things you have to do in order to properly ride a bike. With model railroading, there's times that there's more than one way to get to the same conclusion, basically. Let's see if I can some Mod Podge over there. Now, if this is done correctly, the white the white toilet paper winds up disappearing into the black. Now, let's see. Now, for the stream, I'm using this aquarium gravel. I grabbed something that was relatively close to what's around here. I think last time I did this, I had a very light I think a small little all right. Now I'm trying to figure out how to blend these rocks with the rocks that are over here. Down just a little bit, trying to but all right, you're welcome, Dwight. I think it was a team effort, though. Because I am sort of got distracted by trying to concentrate on the diorama. So I apologize for that part. All right, let's pour some of these out. And let's see. Let's put some more Mod Podge over here. Sort of do a stream. And then we'll add some rocks here. Sort of assimilate the stream here. Put some Mod Podge down this stream. see, put some there. And where the Mod Podge is, it eventually will dry. I might not have everything in the correct spot. Hopefully things look, I want to say presentable, hopefully. And it looks like it's almost time to call it for the night. Gonna be glued down. I'm starting to think that this is getting close to being done. Or at least done for tonight, anyway. All right. Grab the last of these. All right. That looks like it's going to be enough for this week. All right. All right, now to switch over cameras again. Well, hello there, Mr. Bailey. I'm in the process of tell everyone to wander off to Nissy, because I believe Nissy is the one running tonight, correct? Let's switch cameras. Hopefully it'll let me do it without going mute. All right, off the live camera. Oh no, it looks like it went to 100 again. Correct. Okay, so all right, looks like I think everything is working. It went to 100 and it looked like it sort of froze for a second. But since I wasn't on that, it didn't look, didn't look out of place. But yeah, it looks like Okay, it's now not at 100 completely. So all right. Thank you very much, Mystic. See you later. And I guess I'll, after a short break, we'll see everyone uh, over at Nissy's channel, Nissy J's channel. Um, one of these days, I might actually turn around and do something, turn around and do something smart and actually have notes going like, hey, this is where, the channel is and all that, which I keep on forgetting to do. But yeah, it's one of those things of you are very welcome, Dwight. I do my best to help, but there are other channels out there that are probably a lot more skilled than I am than using plaster cloth. Um, and uh, but it's one of those things that we do our best to help each other out, and what works for me might not work for you, but it's one of those things of um, what I would do is make small little dioramas and see what does work, what doesn't work. Then you can turn around and um, then you can turn around and as I said, you don't have to exactly, Sparky. It's basically 10. There's 10 ways of doing something, Sparky. And thank you for popping in. Right now, I'm getting ready to pretty much sign off. As I mentioned earlier, I'm in the process of possibly thinking of adding another hobby to this channel, which is barely railroad related. And that is, I was just recently introduced to, well, I wouldn't say recently, I was first introduced before the pandemic, but it's one of those things of I never really, I don't really, I don't have the ability to do it at the time. Now there's a possibility I might be able to do it, and it's basically cycle cart racing. As I explained earlier, cycle carts are basically adult-sized go-karts that look like pre-World War II racers. With basically open wheel, pretty much before, sort of like Formula One before Formula One. And the thing is, the only, basically the way that I'm able to sort of rope this into model trains is that there was a short time that Alco, the American Locomotive Company, made automobiles and trucks. And there were people that turned around and turned them into race cars. So I'm planning on doing a Vanderbilt Cup 1909-ish racer, Alco racer. That's what the plan is. How well it will go, I don't know. It's one of those things of that's what I'm planning on. I just got to figure out how to, work with the gentleman that said, "Hey, use my workshop." I'm like, okay then. So I'm going to see about pretty much how to, it's obviously probably won't be, you could use it for maybe live steam, possibly, but other than that, it's going to be interesting if I'm able to do it. It's the way I look at it is it right now, because of the pandemic and all that fun stuff, I want to do something with other people that are not two-dimensional. I like everyone here, but it's a little bit more fun when you're actually with somebody in 3D and all that. And so that's right now my thought process, uh, especially since we're no longer, well, technically, I guess we're no longer in the pandemic, but so it is. All right. Well, it is now 7:46. Says there's still 4 people here. Not sure how true that is. Uh, but I think the world needs more love. So find your passion, spread it around. Oh, I forgot to add add some silliness, then spread it around. But see everyone later.